This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where dad is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, author of the #1 bestseller Proximity Principle, and host of The Ken Coleman Show, where he talks about your career. Talks about you getting the right job, talks about you living out your passions. And we're going to talk about that today with you, along with anything else you want to talk about. The phone number here is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Ricardo is in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hey, Ricardo, how are you?
Hey, Dave, how are you?
Great, man. What's up?
All right, yes. So right now I'm currently 21 years old. I have $35,000 saved in my bank account. I'm currently in college, but I'm doing like debt free because I'm getting some help. And then I'm currently living with my parents. I've been thinking about moving out, but I realized when I move out, I'm basically going to be like living paycheck to paycheck. So what do you think I should do?
When will you graduate from college?
Next year.
Okay. Well, it's not unusual for someone to live at home until they graduate from college. But if you're 28 and you make $60,000 a year in your mother's basement, there's issues, dude.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
I know you're not. You're 21. You live at home. You don't make any money. You're going to college. You got $35,000 in savings. I got it. That's not you. My point is, what you're doing is a fairly normal process and does not indicate that you're emotionally stunted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ricardo, you're overthinking this. You're in great shape. You got a year left. I'd absolutely stay if it were me.
Is there a problem?
I'd keep saving money.
Is there a relational problem at home?
There is kind of a little bit. I actually do work full time as well. I make $14 an hour, and I'm actually doing like this, on like the regular shifts and everything. But there is a little bit of problems, but I think we're finding a solution to it. So yeah.
What are you studying?
I'm doing business administration.
Good for you. And where'd you get the $35,000?
The what, sorry?
Where did you get the $35,000?
I've worked at several jobs during a couple of years now, and that's how I said I'm pretty good with budgeting. I'm pretty good with numbers. I love budgeting and doing all these things.
I don't think you're living paycheck to paycheck. I think you've misunderstood that phrase because you're actually so conservative and so disciplined. You got $35,000 in the bank, and you're working full time and going to college, debt free. I think you just got to sit down and do your budget.
If he moved out, he would be. Is what he said.
Yeah,
because he'd be using up all of his $14 just to pay rent.
Just to pay rent.
So,
yeah.
Who paid for college?
So it was my family's kind of from a low income, so I'm using help. I got help from FAFSA, which is it's like you don't have to pay it back. It's like government assistance.
So you got Pell Grants?
Yes, Pell Grant. Yes.
Okay. All right. Because that's the only one you don't pay back. The rest of them, FAFSA signs you up for, makes you think it was a grant, and it turns out it was a student loan. So, yeah. But, okay. Now, unless you have a really nasty, bad situation that you've got to get out of there, I'm going to suck up whatever the relationship thing is, be humble, and finish my time there, get out of school, graduate with $35,000 in the bank and a degree in business, and go get the big boy job and move out then. So that means you're only there one more year. Yeah, that's what I would recommend. And if you were my kid, that's what I would ask you to do, to continue to do that. But as you said, it sounds like there's some rough spots you guys need to smooth out in the rules of the house. And when you live at someone else's house, you live by their rules.
Yeah. And he's a number cruncher. Where I was going is that, could you get a roommate? Let's see what that looks like. What does your paycheck allow you to do? And could you get a roommate and maybe still do it? If not, as you're pointing out, he's got a year. He's going to save up even more than the $35,000 living at home. So he's going to be in fantastic shape.
Yeah, you'll be able to move out pretty easy with a good, solid job and with a graduate, the new job after graduation that should be considerably more than $14 an hour. Should put you in that position. So, yeah, it's this is an interesting age group.
Yeah.
We're talking to them, you and I both, on the Ken Coleman Show on Sirius XM, but YouTube is drawing in this 18, 19,
Yes.
20, 21, 22-year-old bunch. And, used to that if we had someone call and they said they were living at home, they were 28.
Oh, yeah.
And so we immediately jumped ahead and said, yeah, come on. But in this case, we're having a lot of young people who are go-getters.
Yep.
That, I'm talking to 19-year-olds with substantial dollars that are calling in here, and they're doing these substantial things. So a portion of that generation, whatever the label is that's on this 18 to 24-year-old generation, whatever that, it's not millennials, certainly, but
no.
I don't know the proper demographic.
Gen Z or mosaics is what they call them.
Z was before millennials, wasn't it?
No, it's after.
Is it?
I promise.
Okay. Well, you probably know more than I do. You do. It's what?
Oh, you mean,
No.
yeah, X is me. I'm Gen X.
Well, I know that. But
and so then it's millennials.
There's one between you and
then
millennial.
Gen Z.
I thought it was
or mosaics.
I thought it was XZ millennial. No. But what do I know? Obviously, I don't know. So here, bottom line is, this age group, there is a very serious group of them.
Yes.
I don't know if there's a bunch of deadbeats in there too. I don't talk to them, but they're watching the Ramsey Show on YouTube and are calling in. And that guy right there, when I was 21,
oh yeah,
and $35,000.
Not even close. I didn't even know how to say 35,000. And one thing I want to point out. Right now, Ricardo, he's still listening in. Ricardo, I would challenge you to look for a job that pays more than $14 an hour over the next year or so, because right now we're seeing companies, not the federal minimum wage, but companies are raising minimum wages because there is right now so many jobs that are open and people aren't returning. Now is the time in a metropolitan area like Charlotte, North Carolina, Ricardo, as sharp as you are, I would at least challenge you to look to not, maybe you can find something in the $17, $18, $20 an hour. You'd be surprised what companies are offering to try to get talent, just stable talent in the door.
Well, they might want to move you in there into a business type job with your business degree on the come.
Yes, sir. It's almost like a paid internship because they know you're 1 year away from diploma. So I'd encourage him to do that as well. And then to what you were saying, Dave, we know this from the data. There's recent studies out that this generation, this Gen Z, they're in high school now, they're in their early 20s. More than any generation previous in America, they are more entrepreneurial. They are thinking when they come out of high school that they're going to eventually own their own business. Some want to go right into it, not even into college. And those that are going into college are thinking, I'm going to college because I want to work for me one day. We're seeing that big time, and I think we're seeing that reflected in the kids that are watching our show.
Well, that's going to change the political landscape.
Yes, it will. Wait till they start seeing the taxes come out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that among other things, yeah.
Yeah, and all the other policies.
Trying to run a business with the government breathing down your neck.
Yeah,
but
it's a very good point. That's a very good point.
Wow. Interesting labor market right now.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, host of The Ken Coleman Show on Sirius XM, an ever-popular podcast, and, of course, 75 radio stations plus carrying it now. You can tune in and hear him anytime. He's my co-host today. This is The Ramsey Show. Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Smart Dollar is our best money content and products packaged digitally and tailored for the workplace. Companies offer Smart Dollar to their team as an employee benefit. People like Costco, for instance, have had all their employees go through our materials, teaching them. And lots of companies of all sizes, big companies, small companies, and everything, have figured out that if their employees are out of debt and on a plan and concentrating, they're able to concentrate at work then. Even the folks in the military know mission readiness is affected by money stress. And so getting rid of money stress increases productivity and all that. And one of our Smart Dollar customers is a company called Forever Lawn, and they've been a customer for a long time. Heidi is with us in Canton, Ohio, from Forever Lawn. Hi, Heidi. How are you?
I'm great, Dave. Thank you. How are you and Ken?
Better than we deserve. So I'm looking on my notes here that the Smart Dollar team gave me, and it looks like you got your team through Smart Dollar before COVID hit, just because you wanted to help your team members. I'm guessing you had a little different COVID experience with people who had their act together.
We did. It definitely gave people time to think about their finances, their futures, their goals, and to be really intentional about their budgeting.
Yeah. And so when did you guys have layoffs or furloughs or anything?
We did not. No, we kept everyone on staff.
Excellent. How many team members have y'all got?
Well, we have about 70 at our home office, and then we have about 70 dealerships across the country.
Cool. What's Forever Lawn do? What do y'all do?
Great question. So Forever Lawn is a premium artificial grass company, and we have 5 premium artificial vertical brands, Forever Lawn Landscape, Golf Green, Sports Grass, Canine Grass, and Playground Grass. And we service people throughout the country with whatever needs they would have to make their lawns, their yards, their homes a place where they can enjoy.
Ken, I think you need a putt green out back out of this artificial stuff. I'm thinking you need to install one of these.
I do, and I'll tell you something else. I had 2 big doodles, and so I've actually sampled their product. It's
no
amazing.
way.
Yeah. So here's the deal. I spoke for them a couple years ago because of EntreLeadership.
Oh,
and they sent a sample of this canine grass, Dave, and it's brilliant. The doggy can go out and do their business on it, and it doesn't kill your grass. It goes through. It filters through. It's fantastic. So you have this beautiful lawn all the time, and it's healthy for the dog. It's brilliant.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Because dogs can do a real number on your backyard.
We're aware of that. And thank you for
Dave
the visual.
thought I was going to get specific for a second. No, not at all. But it's fascinating
too
technology.
late. You've already overshared. Yeah. Yeah. So when you guys put your 70 team members through pre-pandemic, what kind of insight does that give you? How important it is post-pandemic? For folks to have their employees go through and learn how to get out of debt and budget and kind of just be ready for life, because your guys weren't not as freaked out about the possibility of layoffs. They had to be, and they had Ken Coleman speak to them. So, I mean, they were completely prepared and ready, right?
Yes, absolutely. They definitely help to, like you were mentioning, the financial stress, uncertainty, frustration, looking for answers, just worrying about money. Definitely, they were able to put their feet to the ground and just go at it. So the worrying, the not knowing, definitely was not there for our team.
Yeah. Okay, so when you launch this thing and you say, okay, we got a Dave Ramsey financial class for Smart Dollar for the team, did they go, oh, gross? Or were they engaged or excited? Or how hard was it to get them to do it?
Well, at first, I will tell you, I think anything with financial, when you're talking about financials, sometimes it's hard for people to, open up, including myself, and just be vulnerable, willing to talk about your finances, to just get real about it. So at first, I think, getting going, people were a little bit they wanted to be able to join in, but I think sometimes it takes the power of a team and other people joining in and cheering them on, makes it more of something everybody wants to be a part of, because we all have the same challenges and the same, outlook on things, and want to have a financial path for our families that gives us freedom. So I think that
now that they've all
quickly left.
Now that they've all been through it, what are they saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, they absolutely love it. We have, if you want to hear directly from team members, I have some quotes from them, but everyone I think that has been a part of it and has chosen to join it has seen a great impact in their own personal lives, whether it be, in saving, paying off debt, paying off houses, to just even setting up their budgets for the very first time.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, because that's an amazing list of personal testimonies, but how have you seen it lift professional performance in the culture and in the workplace?
Mm-hmm. Great question. I definitely think that the weight that many feel of, I think a lot of times we ask ourselves when we're in that stress or that situation where we don't know about our money and we don't know, where it's going or where we're going to be, we start asking questions like, should I look for another job? Even though I've heard that from people and they absolutely love, they love being here, but still, like, should I go look for a job that has, that offers more money? And when we really take a look at it and everybody gets personal about it, you realize it's not about making more money. It's about, telling your money where to go, the money that you do have. And then you can do whatever you want to do as long as you have that mindset.
That's huge. That's great retention strategy, Dave.
Oh, yeah, it's everything. It's everything. So we've got all this detailed, in-depth research that shows that when a company like yours spends money to invest money to teach their team, that the net result is that they get a return on investment, meaning they get that money back and more in saved retention, in lowered stress, increased productivity, and so forth. Have you guys research is one thing, but now I'm actually talking to somebody that did it. Are you, and you're running the place, are you looking at your team going, as a business person, this investment paid off?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, absolutely. I think from multiple people and even for myself, we definitely look at it as, we've been given this amazing tool and this opportunity. And so you want to, that the owners who invested in this, it's not just about the everyday business. They truly care and are intentional about wanting the best for you personally, and your family and your life. So it goes beyond the workplace. They truly value, everything outside of just these walls here at Forever Lawn. So I think that speaks volumes to people, because they know that it's not just about being here or the paycheck, that they know they're taken care of and that they're valued.
Very cool. Well, Heidi, thank you for taking your time with us. We appreciate you taking a minute out of your day and talking about this. Very good stuff. And thanks again for having Ken over, for sending him pet grass, and for teaching Smart Dollar to your whole team. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. You too.
All right. That's Heidi from Forever Lawn. We've got high school curriculum that's in 48% of the high schools. A lot of people don't even know that. We've got this huge corporate initiative that is a large section of our business, but since it's business to business, the public a lot of times doesn't know it's there. So you HR directors out there, you decision makers inside of businesses, if your team is out of debt and on a budget, they're not taking calls from MasterCard during the day, learning who the master of their life is, guess what? They're focusing on work. It's a neat thing. Productivity goes up, stress goes down. Wow.
Heidi said they don't look for other jobs. They stay with you. This is a great leadership strategy if you're a small business owner.
Ding, ding. This is The Ramsey Show. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Kevin and Katie are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Great.
Good.
How you doing?
Welcome. Where do you guys live?
Clinton Township, Michigan.
Okay, and that's near...
It's about 20 miles north of Detroit.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, welcome to Nashville. Good to have you guys.
Thank you.
Fun, and all the way down here to do a debt-free scream. How much
Yes.
have you paid off?
90,000.
All right. How long did this take?
15 months.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
We started at 215,000. Then I took a pay cut. It dropped down to, during the pandemic, it dropped down to 195. And then afterwards, went back up to 225.
Excellent. What do you guys do for a living?
I am a CPA in industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a teacher.
All right. What do you teach?
Second grade.
All right. Fun. Good for you guys. What kind of debt was the 90,000?
It was a little bit of everything. We had student loans, car loans. We had a camper loan. We had 401k loan, credit cards.
You were normal.
Yeah, we were normal.
And normal sucks. Yeah.
That's
So
right.
what happened? How long y'all been married?
25 years.
Okay, so you're going along and you're just living the American nightmare and paying everybody money and working and no money to show for it. What woke you up?
So, we've been in debt our entire life.
Yeah.
And we, what would you say? I kind of froze here.
Well, he came across your book and was telling me about it. And to be honest, I didn't see a problem, and I wanted nothing to do with it. I didn't. We were normal. Everybody's in debt, is what I thought.
Yeah, everybody is. You're right.
And so probably, I don't know, let's say 3 years ago, he said, hey, Dave has a daughter, Rachel. You should probably, listen to her, check it out.
Yeah,
and
she.
So,
I was watching your shows, trying to figure out a way to get out of debt, to not be normal, and I brought you up to her, and she wasn't interested at all.
Yeah. But Rachel got through.
Yeah,
Rachel.
Rachel. I started watching her podcasts, following her on social media. One day I was going through filing, shredding things, and I saw our credit card statements. When they came in the mail, I just passed them off to him. I never opened them. And when I saw the numbers and I saw the receipts, I knew there was a problem. And so we started our budget, which, to be honest, I hated. The first few months I fought him. And because I felt like the budget was telling me I couldn't spend anymore. I didn't see it as giving me permission to spend. It was telling me I couldn't. And then the pandemic hit, and we went through Financial Peace University online.
Whoa.
And that was eye-opening. That is what changed me right then and there.
Oh, wow.
It all made sense. And a week later, I went to my husband and handed him my credit card. And the look on his face was shock. And
shock and love.
Yeah.
Love. I'm in love with this woman.
And then she asked me if I want to do a budget too. So.
Oh my God! How sexy is that?
As a CPA, budgets are my friend, right?
That's so fun.
I just couldn't get through to her, to share the budget, to do the budget together.
Wow.
I was always doing everything myself.
Yeah. Okay.
As the super nerd, I guess.
So, Katie, it sounds like, and I don't want to read into this too much, you tell me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like the fact that you didn't have full knowledge of how bad it was part of your, I guess, valid reason that you weren't worried about it.
Exactly. He took care of all our financials. When we got married, I turned over all financials
So if he
to
had
him.
sat down and said, "Hey, I need help," and laid it all out in front of you, you would have gone, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
Which is actually the net of what happened, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you saw that, oh my gosh, he's carrying this, and I can't do, but yeah, we got to do this. That's so fun. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we went through some tough times too. Katie was diagnosed with breast cancer. Was it 10 years ago?
13.
13.
13 years.
She's in remission now. So I mean,
Yeah,
we got
praise
through a
God.
lot of tough things, and this is just one more tough thing that we finally did.
Yeah. Well, this is nothing compared to that, but at least you knocked it out in 15 months, $90,000 worth. How's that feel? No payments.
It's awesome.
Wonderful.
It's been my dream for probably 15, 20 years, you know.
So I got to ask, so you come to him with the credit card and the budget request, and he's stunned. He's fired up, right, as he just shared. What was the first Gazelle move? Or were there a couple of big moves? How'd you guys just really dive into it? What'd that look like?
I think the first few months it was kind of slow.
Sure.
And then it was in the summer of last year. That's when Gazelle, I didn't see the progress, and I was getting really, really frustrated. And I was wondering, why was it taking so long to get out of debt? And so I think that's when I wanted to kick it into Gazelle intensity. And we just looked at that budget again and looked at what other areas can we cut? What else can we do?
One of the biggest things actually that happened, which you think is a bad thing, is my daughter was driving a car and it got totaled. Well, it was in the middle of the pandemic. I didn't have to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't buy another car, so we took that insurance money and paid off a big chunk.
There's a big one. Okay.
But now your daughter's carless.
Yeah.
Well, we have bought a used car.
Good.
Big cash.
Because she would not be a happy camper. Yeah, that's good. All right. So what do you tell people now that you both have done this, and you're the other side of it, all the weaving and bobbing to get to it, but then when it was game on, what did you do to pay off $90,000 in 15 months? What's the keys?
For me, it was the budget and the Every Dollar app, and being involved in the process and the communication with my husband.
Especially the Every Dollar app, because she could see where we were at and see all the details.
Very cool.
But patience is a huge key also, because, I could see where we were going when we'd be paid off, but just waiting was probably the hardest thing.
There's a grind to go with the hustle.
Yes.
Yeah. They go together. So when you're in Financial Peace University, how far down into the class were you before you were completely like, okay, game on?
I was before we started. But.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I want to say after the second class.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then I don't know what class number it is, but when you talk about investment, because at that point I was clueless about that. And after watching that episode, I was like, this makes sense, and I know where we want to go, and I know where I want my money.
Wow.
So.
Very cool. Well, that's inspiring. Thank you. I'm getting ready to write some of that stuff again, and we're going to do another. We constantly are adding to Financial Peace University and updating it as well, and reshooting some of those lessons. And I've got some reshoots this summer, so that inspires me to work on that. Thank you. God bless. This is very cool, you guys. And you brought the kiddos with you. What are their names and ages?
So we have Elizabeth,
23.
23, and Charlie, he's 17. We have another one at home, but he couldn't come because he's actually working.
And the third.
And then we have Zach here, who is Elizabeth's boyfriend.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome, you
Excited on
guys.
a
Good
trip.
to have you guys. We got a copy of The Legacy Journey, because that's the next chapter in your story, to leave a legacy, change a legacy. It's what you've done. And a copy of The Total Money Makeover, so you can pay it forward and give that to someone and start their journey. Because once people start hearing just a little bit of your story, they're going to want to know more and how to do this very well. Proud of you guys. You're heroes.
Thank you.
Good job. Very,
Thanks.
very nice. All right, it's Kevin and Katie, Beth, Ben, Charlie, and
Zachary.
Zach. Okay, sorry about that. And $90,000 paid off in 15 months, making $215 to $225. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt free!
Yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo! Game on, baby. This is how you do it. Financial Peace University. Almost 10 million people have been through that class now. It's part of Ramsey Plus. Be sure you check it out. You can get a free trial on it. This is The Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we talk about your life, your money, your career, your job, your income. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Matt's in Seattle. Hey, Matt, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I have a question about the long-term care insurance question that's coming up in Washington. Basically, there's a new tax coming in place next year. 0.58% of every $100 with no income maximum is going to be collected. So my wife is 37, I'm 34. We can opt out if we purchase a private plan, but we feel like that's also quite premature. So I'm just wondering if you could help me determine what direction we should go, opt out, one-time option, or just suck it up and pay the tax.
Matt, I'm a little bit behind the curve here. I'm not aware that has actually passed.
It's passed. It starts in January 2022, and all the employers here have sent out letters about the one-time opt-out option.
Federal or Washington?
This is Washington state only.
Oh, okay. All right, because I'm thinking, how did I miss that on the federal level? Okay.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not aware of that. Okay, so they have passed a law. Oh, my God, what is wrong with your state? Taxing you if you don't buy long-term care insurance.
Well, essentially, if you pay into this program for 10 years, you qualify for $36,000 of long-term care coverage, which is barely a drop in the bucket. And for us being so young, we're wondering if we paid private insurance, if those premiums would be so low that it would be just better that we have that, which is guaranteed, and it's portable. So if we leave the state... Or you can pay that
so
tax.
You either pay the tax and buy the plan, or you have to have a private plan, one of the two.
Correct. But
you're automatically enrolled in this bad plan if you don't buy a private plan.
Correct. And you can only opt out one time before this starts in January. So this is like a one-time option for us to consider. Otherwise, we have to pay it.
Freaking communists.
Yeah.
Wow.
If a little more information might be helpful, right? So our gross income is about $220,000 for our household.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd probably be paying about, $1,200 to $1,500 for this program. I'm not sure what we would have to pay given our ages for a private plan for those premiums.
Yeah.
But at least if we did a private plan, we could take it with us anywhere.
Yeah. And it'll be much better quality because I'm sure the state-provided service is not going to be to the level of the private-provided service. It never is. Just think DMV.
Correct, yeah.
So this is the problem with socialism. Here, I got two things running through my head. One is there's a math problem, and two, there's a philosophy problem that I have if I'm in your shoes, and that's how I have to answer the questions if I woke up in your shoes. Okay. So I'm opting out just because I'm pissed off.
Right.
And then I got to figure out how dumb that was mathematically. And it wasn't dumb, really. It's probably going to turn out to be good for you overall, because there's some probability, maybe low, that you leave that state someday, and then you paid into this stupid thing. Man, that's just, I'm surprised there's not a court challenge on that.
Oh, yeah. I guarantee you there's lobbyists
Not a lot of
involved
people
with
by
that.
surprise.
Oh, yeah. This is all behind-the-scenes dealing. I can tell you that right now.
Smoke in back rooms. All right, yeah, so anyway, all of my whining aside, I'm opting out, and I'm going to take the private plan unless you can see that it is dramatically, like tens of thousands of dollars different, and I don't think it is. I think it's hundreds of dollars. You make $200,000 a year. You want private care, number one. Number two, you want portable care. And number three, there's some probability you don't live there someday, and you haven't paid into this plan that you would never use. Which is the irony of the whole thing. So it's what it's based on. So, yeah, I'm libertarian enough economically speaking that I'm going to run from any government interference and government control over my life that I can legally.
Were you shocked by how low it was $36,000? He said drop in the bucket. That seems like you're forced into it, and then you have $36,000 limit towards your long-term care.
In coverage, yeah, which is nothing.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't go very far.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Covers 1 year. Even.
Shocking.
Even. So, yeah,
Well,
I'm
really
opting out. I'm opting out because I'm philosophically against it and because I think you'll work out better long-term mathematically or close enough. But you're going to have to dig into the numbers. I'm not sure of that because you caught me a little bit flat-footed. I don't know the details. But with what you told me, it sounds like it's not that much different. A little bit more expensive on the private side. But given that your income is so high, that's where they're really tagging you. This is a soak the rich moment again. Wow.
Yep.
Come on, Washington. Unbelievable. Yeah, this is the problem. When the nanny state comes in, you get bad products created by high taxes.
Yeah, because you need more money. The government needs more to pay for all these things they're doing for people, and this is nothing more than a disguised tax. That's all it is.
Wow.
With the promise of a benefit that's not even a benefit.
Ugh, gross. Gross, gross, gross. And such a pretty state, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have to call our friend that lives there in Seattle and give him a hard time about this. As soon as I get off the air, I'll be ragging on.
Absolutely. Let's blame it on him.
I rag on him all the time anyway, but this is yet one more reason to just beat him to snot. That's just, oh man, that's so sad. It's just so sad. Yeah, these but what you're seeing is, yeah. All right, open phones at 888-825-5225. I'm not going down the rabbit hole. I'm going to resist the urge. Tina's in Birmingham. Hey, Tina, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Dave?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Okay, so my husband recently got a job in Arizona. He's there now, and I'm here in Alabama closing up on our house. We have to sell it first.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to find housing in Arizona, so we're trying to see, should we rent or should we buy?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you out of debt?
The only thing we have is car loan, and it's $8,000. That's what we owe on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
how much you getting out of your house how much you getting out of your house when it sells?
So we'll probably get about $60K out of it.
Good. Pay off the car. Then that leaves you the rest for a down payment minus an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. So there is nothing wrong, especially in a market like we're in, a white-hot real estate market. What part of Arizona?
Tucson.
Okay. White-hot. No pun intended. It is very hot, literally, but also the economy is. So beautiful area, though. So I there's nothing wrong with renting for 6 months or a year. Learn the town, and you'll make a better choice. It's hard to come into a city cold and buy a house and know where the invisible lines are. I mean, you're trusting a real estate agent. You got to do a lot of research. You got to learn. But every town has invisible lines, meaning across the tracks. When you cross that road, the same square footage house drops down. You know, and it's just it's location, location, location is how real estate prices are established. And sometimes it's a little bit random as to how that occurs. And so learning the market, spending a year researching and learning the market will cause you to make better decisions. So I like the idea of renting. You know, Ken, I bought a couple of properties this year and I bought several properties this year, but in every case except one, which was an adjacent property, so I already knew the property, but I have worn myself out looking at options because I learned the entire market. I want to learn everything about it. I want to learn the per square foot. I want to learn all the nuances of the micro market that it's sitting in. Now, I enjoy it because I love real estate. But anytime you're making a decision, taking a job, buying a house, options equal power.
That's absolutely right. What you're doing there is you're getting really, really clear. And what you just described gives you tremendous confidence because you're very clear on what the best choice is and the best purchase. It's always better to go clarity.
Yep. Gives you power and you make wiser choices. James Childs is in the booth, and who's filling in for Kelly?
Madison Browder.
Madison is in there.
Yeah.
Hey, Madison. This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, this is James, senior producer for The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? And a lot of those people listen on one of our 600 plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, head to theramseyshow.com.
This is The Ramsey Show.
You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career.
You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Ken Coleman is my co-host today, Ramsey personality, host of The Ken Coleman Show, which you can hear on 75 plus radio stations, Sirius XM, and as a podcast all the time. Talking about career, talking about jobs, talking about finding the place where you can function in your highest level, at your highest level, with your talent, your passion, and that's Ken's thing. So we're here answering questions about that as well as life and money. The phone number, 888-825-5225. Max is in Des Moines. Hi, Max. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave and Ken. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Everything above eye level, but that's not why I'm calling. I got an email today. I am a contractor, and got an email today from my job, and I started 11 months ago, and it's been remote up until now, and they want me to start coming into the office starting July 5th. In the last few weeks before this email, I've got the impression that micromanagement might be a problem with this job, and I've even actually put out a couple applications just to see what was out there. But with being at home, the micromanaging, wasn't a huge problem for me. My contract ends at the end of July, but it's renewable should I wish it to be. Should I just tell them I'll stay at home through the end of my contract, see what they come back with, or do I go in for a while I look for a new job, or do I just flat out leave? I'm in baby step 6. I have a 4-month emergency fund. And that's about where I'm at. This email came this morning. I'm a software engineer.
Yeah. Okay. So what are you going to do over the next 5 years with your life?
I'm going to continue with my software engineer position.
As a contractor?
I would rather be with a company. I took this job because I lost my previous job to COVID, and it was out of desperation. I was in debt at that time. Everything's really fallen in place with this position, and I'm thankful for it. But I think it might be time to move on, and I just don't know which of those 3 routes that I mentioned I should go.
Well, I'll tell you this. I think that you bite your lip and you go in there and you deal with micromanagement whatever that is, whatever that looks like, and you do a great job and you're looking elsewhere because you want to move on from contracting anyway to work for a company, and you stay with it. I don't want you to use that emergency fund. That's for emergencies. That's not for job transitions. And you've done a great job. Baby step 6, be patient right now and understand the big picture. So if you've got some poor management, you can deal with that. It's not an abusive, toxic situation. And so I would stay put until we have a better step, another rung on the ladder, a higher rung on the ladder, and keep moving up doing the work you want to do. The good news, you know exactly what you want to do. You're qualified. You're in great shape. I would deal with this until we find something better.
Hold your nose and go get a job while you work there the last month. That's what Ken's saying.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. You're extrapolating something here that hadn't even occurred yet.
I thought you might bring that up, and yeah, that is true. And I know how you feel about the working from home gig, and it's not that. I'd be willing.
No, I didn't hear you say that. I heard you say you thought you were working for people that were going to be a pain in the butt. That's different. I don't ask anybody to do that. But and you know, it might be worse than you think it's going to be. It might be better than you think it's going to be, but probably it's not going to be what you think it's going to be. Mm-hmm. It's probably going to be better or worse. I mean, that's fair. That's a fair guess. And so I think your goal is to land the new gig, and your software engineer, you should be able to do that in 30 to 45 days by the end of the contract, don't you?
I do. I've already got applications out there, 3 applications out there, and I've just contacted my recruiter, and she says she doesn't want to lose me, so she was hoping to sign me somewhere else, possibly.
Well, that's somebody want to put you back in a contract role.
True.
No, thank you. That's not your long-term goal.
That's right.
Use this 45 days of holding your nose to hit your long-term goal, which is the dream company that you want to work for, that's good people, and it's good pay, doing what you love to do.
Yeah.
Let's grab the brass ring, baby. Let's get the whole thing in the transition. You took this step back in order to pay the debt because you got kicked in the street due to COVID. And now you've got the opportunity where the market has swung completely in your favor to go land the perfect thing, don't you think?
I think he's in perfect position. And one other thing, you're assuming that a couple of things you've seen over the last 30 days mean micromanaging, and you think it's going to be worse because you're in there. I'm not sure. I think micromanagers micromanage people that are remote, and they micromanage people that are in the office. So I think there's a little bit of a monster under the bed thing here. It's not as bad as you think. I agree with Dave, and this is temporary, man.
I would not tell you to go back if you were saying, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life.
Correct.
Or if you did, I'd go in there and say, I'm going to give them a test and say, do I want to work here the rest of my life for the next 30 days? If not, I'm going to be out. But in your case, you're just out.
Yep.
Because it's not what you want to do in long term. So, aim where you want to be 5 years from now. And the worst place you hit is a little short. If you aim at nothing, that's what you're going to hit every time. So let's aim high.
Yep.
And, worst case is you miss. And but that's not going to happen. I think you're in a primo market for a software engineer. Yeah, very cool. Hey, thanks for the call. James is in San Antonio. Hi, James. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, how are you doing, Dave?
Better than we deserve. How can we help?
Well, okay, so I have a car. I already have a beater car. My wife has a reliable car. So what I do is I drive back and forth to work, and that's it, because there's no AC. Within the last 3 months, we've been thinking about, we need a new car. So I just don't know how much to spend on it.
How much money do you have?
Okay, so I have $34,000 in the bank.
Okay.
And 15,000 of that is emergency fund. Mm-hmm. And then my wife also has a $5,000 loan. My main concern too is I'm a renter, and my main goal is to buy a house within the next 6 years. And so I'm fearful of letting that money go. And so I just don't know how much money to spend on a vehicle either.
Okay. Well, pay off the $5,000 loan out of that 34 today and go buy a $5,000 or $6,000 car, and then restart the other portion that's not the emergency fund is your down payment fund, and let's start saving aggressively to build that back up.
Okay.
No car payments, no $5,000 loan when we're done with this discussion, okay?
Yes, sir.
God bless you, brother. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey folks, I got a great option to help you pay for your education. The Army National Guard. The Army National Guard believes you are the next greatest generation because you have proven that even in adversity, that you have what it takes to succeed. That's why they offer benefits like tuition assistance, career training, and a paycheck to help you avoid debt. No matter what your goals are, the Army National Guard can help you get there. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more.
If you're in debt, it can feel like you're constantly at war with your freaking bills. It feels like the bills are winning. You might wonder if you can never get ahead. Listen, it doesn't have to be like this. You can pay off this debt. You can move ahead. You can learn to handle your money. You can get control of it. And we'll show you how with Financial Peace University. It's part of Ramsey Plus. You can sign up at Ramsey Plus, and you'll learn how to take control of your money and ditch your debt for good. Plus, you'll get all the tools that you need to make it happen. You can get ahead. You can end this constant battle for your paycheck. You got to take the first step. Start your free trial of Ramsey Plus. That'll get you into Financial Peace University and into the Every Dollar Premium app, among a bunch of other things. Text TRIAL for the free trial. Text TRIAL to 33789. Text TRIAL to 33789. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com, a wonderful American company. Blinds.com has a 100% satisfaction guarantee. It means if you mismeasure, you screw up when you order the blinds from them, you get the wrong color, it's your fault. They'll still make your blinds over for free. Now, a lot of companies fix it if it's their fault, but this is if it's your fault. That's pretty cool. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run all the time, this great company will help you save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey at Blinds.com.
Today's question comes from Mustafa in California. I'm a 14-year-old Californian who is determined to become a real estate investor and developer. I'm reading books about real estate investing and economic cycles, and I'm focused on getting an internship in high school along with that future job. I wanted to know how you would go about pursuing this career if you were in my shoes, or if you would do anything differently. Well, Mustafa, I love this. You are a 14-year-old who's on the ball. I love that you're going after an internship in high school. And I would try to turn that internship into any kind of job, entry level, doesn't matter what it's doing or how much it's paying in high school. And I would be focusing on getting a job with a real estate developer, because what's happening is it's a paid internship. You are learning the ins and outs of the industry you want to be in from somebody who's already doing it. The only thing I'd add to that is I would literally be taking notes, whether it's on your iPhone or with pad and paper, pad and pencil, and talking, questioning everybody, customers, people that are working, and truly have that head on a swivel, Dave. I think a 14-year-old doing that early on, you're going to learn all the ins and outs of being a real estate developer. And should you change your mind, it'll be because of that experience. You go, oh, it's not what I thought it was going to be. But in this case, he's probably going to get a master's degree in just knowledge and wisdom from soaking it up, being a human sponge.
Yeah. While you're doing that, look for old real estate developers.
That's a great point. Some gray hair.
Because there's not many of them.
It's a good point.
Real estate developers developing a piece of real estate, taking raw ground, putting in streets, sewers, infrastructure, selling off the lots, or even putting in the buildings, whether it's commercial or residential afterwards, is the highest risk of all real estate transactions. Because it's a lot of money, number one. Number two, it takes a long time, and you can get caught sideways with an economic cycle. And so there are more people in the real estate business that have gone broke being developers than any other category. More than being home builders, more than being real estate agents, more than owning real estate of other kinds. So if that's your goal, there's nothing wrong with that. But talk to some old ones that have figured out how to limit the risk, how to be ready for the economic changes, because otherwise you're going to talk to people who have absolutely no concept of risk. And if that's all you learn, then you're going to learn some stupid stuff that's going to put you in harm's way. But I'm with Ken. Your concept, you're dead on. I would go after it, go do it. Obviously, you're a sharp young guy, and you got a real future ahead of you. Bobby is in West Virginia, Fairmont to be exact. Hey, Bobby, how are you?
I'm good, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I just recently, actually yesterday, sold my house. So
wow.
I have a $110,000 check that I need some advice on what to do with. I don't have any debt. So my assumption is to invest it some way, but I don't know.
Where are you going to live?
Much about that. In West Virginia, where I live now. I moved in with my girlfriend. I've lived with her for about a year, so we decided it's time to sell my house. And since the market was pretty hot, I thought it was a good time as well.
Okay. So right now you're freeloading.
Yeah, well, I pay half her expenses too, but, so I'm basically renting from her.
Yeah, so you have a roommate. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, when you get married, you're not freeloading anymore, by the way.
Right.
Okay. What does your girlfriend owe on her house?
She actually just refinanced it, and I think there's about $160,000.
And how much money do you make?
I make just a little over $100,000 a year.
Mm-hmm. And how much money does she make?
Somewhere in the neighborhood of $200,000.
Oh wow! So $310,000 income. $310,000 income. You got $110,000 check in your hand, and she owes $160,000 on her house. Do you have any other debt? Does she have any other debt?
No. She has student loan debt. She has about $120,000 in student loan debt.
Okay.
I have zero debt.
Okay. Yeah, you have zero debt of any kind. She makes more money than you, but as a married couple, you guys are a power couple with some student loan debt to clean up and then a mortgage to pay off, or if that were to happen, right?
Right.
So what I would do is decide when you're going to get married, because if you get married, this 110 goes to clean up her student loans, then the two of you jump on this mortgage with your huge income and knock it out, because it becomes your house at that point that you are sharing. Agreed?
Right.
But you don't do that with someone you're not married to. You don't pay someone's student loans you're not married to. You don't pay someone's mortgage you're not married to. Okay? So for right now, I'm parking this money to the side. If you think you're going to get married within a year or two, I would just set it in a money market account. It's not fancy, but it's going to be available to execute the new plan after marriage. But if you're not going to get married and you're just going to hold on to this money and she's going to hold on to her mess, then you probably ought to invest it into some mutual funds.
Okay.
Yeah. But by the way, you're going to end up homeless someday with that scenario, no real estate, and you're going to end up using this money to buy real estate at some point.
Okay.
When she kicks you out, because you won't marry her.
Okay.
Or whatever happens.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it. I was going to say, when are you putting a ring on it, man? I know that's what everybody's wondering out there.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
You got to lay out the decision-making paradigm here. Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Dave, because you laid it out so beautifully from a relationship standpoint. We didn't ask him. We didn't put him on the spot. But let's assume that they say, well, we don't want to get married. And this comes down the way we teach them.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, this gets really interesting.
No, it's...
Because they're keeping separate accounts but living together. But they're not married.
Yeah, well...
We tell married people, combine.
Yeah, the problem is that they, statistically, Okay, the data tells us that they're going to struggle to build wealth trying to act like they're married, but they're not.
Right.
Because it's two horses pulling in two different directions.
Yeah, that's what I wanted
and
to
you don't
know.
pull the wagon, you just pull it apart.
Yeah.
You just destroy it. That's all you do.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole thing.
Because they're separate, but they're living together, and it's just this. It just never gets connected. And that's the challenge with that.
Yeah, well, but I mean, and there's all kinds of research.
Yeah.
You know, not picking on him, but just in general, that says that as a married couple, there's what they call the marriage advantage. It increases the success curve on your career, your health, and your finances, versus just trying to play house. And yet, half of America now is choosing not to be married. But it's problematic, not just morally or spiritually, but it's problematic from the data of what happens in your life. This is the Ramsey Show. One thing we love to do on this show are debt-free screams. More than debt-free screams, we love doing debt-free screams on the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions. But even more than that, we love debt-free screams on the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions when it's one of our own Ramsey team members. Mike Porter and his wife Kelly from our own team here. Mike's one of our systems engineers in customer experience area, and here to do their debt-free scream. Congratulations, you two.
Thank you.
Well done. So how long you been with us, Mike?
6 months.
Okay, wow. So you're a fairly new team member.
Yes.
You've come in, kind of in the towards the end of COVID, huh?
That's correct.
Or at least as Ramsey defines the end of COVID.
Yes.
We got back to work faster than other people did.
I was going to say, we were 6 months ahead of everybody.
It's not the end of COVID for other people still.
Right,
so I
that's
can't
true.
say that. But but in other words, you weren't right in the heat of it, but still 6 months ago, it was still kind of crazy around here. Well, welcome, man. Very cool. How much debt have you two paid off?
We paid off $247,800.
Yo! And how long did this take?
55 months.
Okay. Man, there is a story here. And the last 6 months is here at Ramsey.
Yes.
So what kind of debt is this?
It's everything. We sold a house. We had 2 cars, credit cards. We had a home improvement loan, a personal loan. Pretty normal stuff, I think, as society defines it.
Yeah. Where's the house that you sold?
In Utah.
Okay. And did you sell that when you moved here for the job, or?
No, actually, we sold that 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't explicitly sell it as part of paying off debt, but when we got ready to move, we were like, we can't buy a new house. We're not financially ready.
Yeah, okay.
That was a home improvement loan. We had the air conditioner go out.
Gotcha.
And that's what happens when you don't have an emergency fund.
That's the way it works. You're asking for it, yeah. So the T-shirts say debt-free what?
Because I learned to say no. And hers says because I listened to no.
Oh!
They are the opposite on the back.
What does the back say? Nerd and free spirit? Turn around. Turn around. Debt-free. Oh, and it switches.
Yes.
Oh, I got it. Okay. All right. That's fair. That way Kelly doesn't get all the trash. And like you're the only one saying no, and she had to learn to hear it. Yeah. That's cool. Very cool. Way to go, you guys. So tell us your story. What happened in your life?
We in 2016, that's when we started, we did FPU. Right before that, I had lost my job in 2011 as part of the aftermath of the whole housing bubble in 2008. And so I got a new job in 2011, took a pay cut. I had actually, by 2016, I had more than doubled my salary. I got to it, worked hard. And we looked around and we looked at each other and we weren't any further ahead. I'm like, I am making more money and I'm not ahead of where we're not gaining any traction. Our son at the time was just about to go into his senior year in high school, and we had nothing saved. So we kind of looked at each other. We were like, we have to change something. And we had some friends back in Utah who said, hey, we're doing FPU. And we kind of resisted at first. I know you've heard the line. Oh, we don't need FPU. We can afford all our payments. But when we really sat down with it, we really couldn't, and we realized that. So we did FPU, and it really radically changed our lives. Learning to say no. When we did FPU, it wasn't with Rachel leading, but her line that she has in the new one. Which is, the budget gives you freedom. Gives you the freedom to say no, but it also gives you the freedom to say yes.
Because back when I taught it, it was just no.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we got Rachel to come along and lighten things up. Yeah. But
So
shut up, no. Yeah.
and along the way, besides paying off the that much, we were able to cash flow $40,000 in tuition.
Wow.
We've had over the last 55 months about $30,000 in medical bills that we also cash flowed, plus moving across the country. And I did in March of last year, I lost my job, and so I was without a job for 2 months.
Oh my gosh!
So all of those things, and
that was in the middle of COVID.
Yes,
yeah, for sure. By anybody's measure. Yeah. And so did you move to Nashville to take this job?
Yes.
Okay. All right. From Utah.
Yes.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Well, we're happy you're part of this team, and we're very, very proud of you. So, Kelly, what's the secret to paying off $248,000 worth of debt?
Me learning the word no.
Oh,
it really was.
Really?
It was really hard for me to sell my house. But when we got to that point, we said, we can either afford this house or we can pay our debt. We don't need this house. We bought a house for a reason, and it was to do foster care. We had stopped doing that, and we didn't need that house anymore. So I had to say, this house is no longer part of our life, and that was part of our journey. And then after that, I had to really learn, we don't need this, we don't need this, and we don't need this.
Cutting loose, that's an emotional process. It really is hard. And because it's in order for the next phase of your dreams to happen, the old ones have to be pushed back. They're not there anymore. And but you can't do both. You can't live the old ones and the new ones. And that's a powerful thing you all did there. Congratulations. Very proud of you.
I got to ask you, I love to hear when the momentum happens for people. Was it as a result of the house, and then you were able to, because you were really struggling with that, you say yes, you sell the house, obviously that helped you. What was the big momentum moment, or were there several in this journey?
There were several. The first one was our friends that led FPU. She told me about it, and she told me what we needed to do, and I said, but we can afford our payments. And she said, if you have to have payments, you can't afford it. And that just hit me. Yes. Grace Beldock. Thank you. She just told me the truth, and
good
I
friends do that. Yeah. Wow. And then the second momentum kick after you said FPU was the first one.
Knowing that our son was going to go to college and we had nothing saved.
Had to go. Yeah.
And we ended up being able to cash flow what he needed by saying no a lot to other things so that we could pay his tuition rather than continue with normal.
Mike, real quick, what was the hardest thing to say no to for you?
We're both kind of spenders. And so for me, it was, as we were doing foster care, really, when I'd come home from work, she'd just be beat up from the kids.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was like, hey, can we just go out to eat?
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like cooking. And so having to sometimes say no to that and say, I'll take the kids and we can relax for a little bit and then you can cook. Or I can cook.
Either way, somebody's got to do something here. Wow. Good for you. Well, we've got, folks that don't know, we've got about just 996 people on our team right now, and of those, roughly half are technology folks. They are developers and systems engineers and software engineers and architecture folks and Ruby on Rails and all the different things that you folks do that I have no idea what it is. But so you're enjoying this technology team?
It's fantastic.
Cool. Good stuff. Well, we're very proud of you guys. We're not going to ask your income because we never do that with team members. That's not fair because we've got half the company standing out here to watch your debt-free scream. So we're not going to put you on the spot in that way. But everybody standing here is proud of you. We're proud of you. We're honored to have you on our team, sir. We appreciate you being a systems engineer with us, and appreciate you, Kelly. Those are cool T-shirts. I like them a lot. So very, very cool. Well done. All right. It is Mike Porter and his wife, Kelly. He's a systems engineer here at Ramsey Solutions. $248,000 paid off in 55 months. What a journey. What a story. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
The crowd goes wild. I love it. Love it. Way to go, you guys. Fabulous. So proud of you. This is The Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. This is The Ramsey Show. You've heard us talking about timeshares for years. Lately, I've been doing some extra special shows on timeshares, and what a ripoff they are. But we're doing some research. We got the Ramsey research team on the timeshare industry, and we want to learn what's really going on out there. Aside from my distrust and distaste for them, I want to know what's really happening. Aside from their BS lines that everybody loves them, which is a bunch of crap. Somewhere in the middle is probably the truth. And so we're doing some surveys and some research. If you'd like to participate, if you're a current timeshare owner or a former timeshare owner, we're conducting a new survey where we want your thoughts, your opinions on your experience with timeshares. Now, we're going to do this in a very sophisticated manner to create a proper piece of research. And in addition to that, we're going to just let you listeners speak into it. And that way, if somebody tries to game it, like, say, the timeshare industry called in and tried to game the survey, then we've got the two pieces of data separate, so we'll know that there's monkey business. So, again, our research department, they kind of know what they're doing and make sure that they put all these stopgaps in there to make sure that the data is actually indicative of what's real. So how do you participate in the timeshare survey? You text timeshare to 33789. I would really appreciate it if you've ever been a timeshare owner or are an owner, if you would take the survey. It won't take you but a minute, because we're really trying to learn about you folks, about the public's perception and understanding and experience with the timeshare industry. I've got my opinions, but I really want to learn what is really happening. Text timeshare to 33789. One word, timeshare, 33789, and take the survey today. Mac is with us. Mac is in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hi, Mac. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, how's it going, Dave?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
All right, so I'm going into my junior year of college at App State University, and I have this money that I've been making like over the summer for DoorDash. I have like roughly $3,000 to $4,000 just kind of sitting in my bank account. I'm just sort of curious, like, where to go because I'm going to be coming into student loan debt in about 2 years here. I'm not quite sure, like, what to do, if I should put it in an IRA.
What do you mean you're coming into student loan debt? You mean you've got student loan debt that'll be due after you graduate?
I'll start my payments like in 2023.
Yeah, so how much student loan debt do you have?
It'll be $22,000.
Okay. And are you still using student loan debt for your junior and senior year?
Yes.
Okay.
Like all together, it'll be 22.
Yeah. How much is it now?
10.
Okay. So what would happen if you decided I'm going to make the other 12 instead of going into debt? You got 3 of it.
Right.
How about taking out no more student loans?
That's an option.
Yeah, and bust your butt and pay cash for the rest of it.
Gotcha. And then I'm through baby step 2, and then just start.
No, you still got the 10,000 laying there that you've already taken out, right? But we're just going to stop doing damage as our first goal. And then when you graduate from school, you'll just attack the 10,000 with your new job. That'll be a lot better than any college job, hopefully. And what are you studying?
I'm studying theater performance, and then I have a double major in business marketing.
Okay. So what is your plan for your career?
I went to this place in New York City called Theatrical Rights Worldwide, and they offered me a job out of college, but I kind of got to look into that and salary-wise. So I'd be marketing and selling shows for a company.
Cool. Sounds like you get to use everything you've learned.
Yeah.
That would be neat. Okay. Cool. Well, good. Good. And you don't know what it pays, and it's a ways out, so you've got to button that thing up between now and then. But in the meantime, you've got to finish up your junior and your senior year, and you've got to pay cash, and you're $9,000 short to do that.
That's right.
And so you can do that, though, because you found work. You're rolling. You see anything, Ken?
I think Dave's absolutely right. I think you're working really hard. And if you made $3,000 to $4,000 this summer, you keep doing that, you've got your $12,000 right there, and you're cash flowing your way through college. So, yeah, I'd work really, really hard. I would not take any more student loans. You don't need it. You've got the ability to do it. So just stay the course here. No more student loan debt. And you're golden. I love this. I would look into the New York thing. I want you to be more clear on what that looks like. You've been offered. You need to know right off the top of your head instantly, okay, this is what it's going to cost to live there, and run those numbers on that before you decide to take that New York job.
Yeah. But, I mean, really, we're talking about this is June. So if the junior year is this fall,
you can bust it.
It's 2 years to come up with $9,000. That's only about $400 a month.
That's exactly right. I worked full time in college.
I did too.
When I say full time, I mean 40 hours plus.
Yeah,
I was busting it on the weekends really hard.
Yeah.
Wasn't much of a weekend life, but it worked.
Yeah, it
got me through it.
Our day, you didn't have any choice, but yeah, now it's called child abuse. But yeah, right. Chad's in Louisiana. Hey, Chad, how are you?
Hey, Dave, how you guys doing today?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
That's it. Hey, I'm new into this. I'm 1 week into putting all my finances together and starting the debt-free living process. And my question is that about 5 years ago, or explain a little bit, 5 years ago, we decided to become full-time RVers. So we sold the house in Houston and really freed up a lot of money for us. And then we've been living that lifestyle. And also, we got to the point where I've got pretty much everything into the calculation sheet. And I was wondering, on my RV, should I refinance that and hopefully get a lesser note to add more cash towards my debt-free living? Or should I stay on the path of what the whole thing's explaining to me? And by almost 6 years, I'll be debt-free.
I would stay on the path, and I think what you're going to find is that as you plow through this, the momentum is going to pick up, and you're probably going to get out of debt faster than you think. Most people that see a 6-year plan end up with about a 4-year plan when it's over, because intensity increases as you get further down into this. And then so what is your 10-year game plan on housing? Are you going to be RVing for the next 10 years?
It all depends on the health. We've already figured out that I'm at 55 and no medications, no illnesses, no issues at all. Hopefully that in 10 years.
What are you living on? You're just working remote or what?
Yes, sir. I'm an independent rep, and self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
So I travel throughout the South Central United States, working with about 40 other reps as their support. And so it doesn't pay me to have a house because we're always on the road. And
you and your wife. You and your wife.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. And you're enjoying this lifestyle so far?
Tremendously.
Okay, good.
You don't like your neighbor, you can hook up and leave.
Good, yeah. Well, I think getting that RV paid off as fast as you possibly can. I'm not sure if it's your baby step 6 or not, because it's your house. You could put it there if you want. How much do you owe on it?
We're right at $113K.
Yeah. And so if we pull that out of the equation, you're debt-free in a year and a half. 2 years.
Oh, easy. Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
so I think maybe it's your baby step 6, as if you had a $110,000 mortgage, and you put it over there, and then you work the system that way. Have you got a copy of the book, The Total Money Makeover, to show you how to do all this?
That's going to be my next step. We loaded the Excel program, and my next step was getting the book, because we just found out about you through my brother last week.
Very cool. Well, I'll give you one. Hold on. Madison will pick up, and we'll ship you a copy of The Total Money Makeover as our gift. If we can figure out where to ship it to.
Yeah, good point. That's going to be the hardest part of this.
Have fun, brother. We're honored to have you as a new listener and a new member of the tribe. Madison will ship you a free copy just to say thanks for listening. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. James Childs is our producer, and Madison is our associate producer and phone screener. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host, and we'll be back.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer for The Ramsey Show. This episode is over, but if you heard about an event, product, or service and didn't have a chance to write it down, don't worry. We list everything you've heard about during this episode in the podcast show notes section, or head to theramseyshow.com. Thanks for listening.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us, America. It's a free call at 888-825-5225. My co-host today, Ken Coleman of The Ken Coleman Show, Ramsey Personality, #1 best-selling author, as he talks about careers, finding your passion, getting the right kind of job, and even getting the promotion over at the place you love. And, you know, Ken, it's been a natural thing for The Ken Coleman Show to become wildly popular in a very short period of time, because it's a subject at Ramsey we've been talking about for a long time. This whole idea that, you know, there's the income side of the equation, the outgo side of the equation, and sometimes the problem is the outgo side, but sometimes the problem is the income side.
Absolutely. And when you think about people who say, all right, I want to increase my income, they automatically have this default idea, and it's really a myth. Well, I'm going to have to go to school, and so I'm trying to get out of debt. I certainly can't take on tuition. I don't have the time on top of that, and that's a myth, because we now know that there are more and more ways than ever, Dave, to get qualified, to actually now begin to be able to move up the ladder, to make that income that you want and the impact that you want. You know, this idea of just working to pay the bills, that's not what anybody wants. I mean, inherently, everybody knows that there's more to life and we want to contribute. And so the idea of increasing our shovel, the big shovel that you've been talking about for a long time, to get out of debt faster is one part of the equation. The other part is to do work that matters. As we look out the glass of our studio here on the giant screen where our staff meets every Monday morning, it says, do work that matters. And that is something that's a part of the fabric here at Ramsey Solutions. And we want to help everyone else that's listening do work that matters to them.
But a job change doesn't, you know, you're right. Sometimes people think, well, that has to come after I get out of debt so that I've got the money to go to school, or
That's
so
right.
I've got the money. But it doesn't have to cost money.
Does not have to, because a lot of times it's just good old-fashioned put yourself out there, raise your hand and say, hey, how can I add these skills that would allow me to step into this position? And you'd be surprised sometimes that it doesn't require a degree, or if it does, you'd be surprised how many times companies who realize good people, and they'll say, you know what, we'll pay for that. So don't assume that I've got to go to college and spend money I don't have in the time that I don't have while I'm in baby step 2. You can do this while you're getting out of debt. And I think that's what we're excited about, showing people that more and more people are just looking for quality. Companies are looking for quality people, and they'll train them on the job.
I will tell you this. I have not tracked it to the dime, but anecdotally, and I'm very, very close, somewhere around 90% of the people that come on the air here, in person or on the phone, to do their debt-free scream, have, during the get-out-of-debt journey, increased their income, and many times substantially.
Yeah. Every time I've heard a scream or seen a scream.
Sometimes they increase it by extra jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes they increase it by, I just started paying attention, so I asked my boss for a raise. Sometimes they increase it by, I really wasn't shopping, but I realized doing what I do, I can make twice as much if I move over there and doing the same thing. And so they go do that. And there's just like this, kind of like the veil was lit, the fog on the career thing was lifted. And, you know, sometimes they say, oh, I went and finished up a certificate, or I was this close to finishing my degree, so I did that, and then that launched me forward.
Sure.
Sometimes they budget and pay cash for the change because it's going to launch them forward. That happens sometimes, but most of the time that's not the case.
No. And folks, getting qualified is stage 2 of our 7 stages here, and getting promoted is stage 5. In between there is get qualified. I'm getting connected. I'm getting started. That's a switch, if you will, or moving into something new. But getting promoted is many times one of the fastest, most effective ways to get through the debt snowball, and then get into the baby step 3 and pile up that emergency fund. And now all of a sudden everything has changed. So we're really trying to help people see the connection between, wait a second, I've got talent. And if I'm not doing something that I really enjoy, there might be a deep connection between in advancing professionally and advancing financially. I mean, we've got to see that. It's not just getting promoted for the sake of getting promoted. It's, hey, I can make the income I need and the impact I want. And that's what we're doing on the Ken Coleman Show. So it absolutely is a wonderful tie-in. But I want to drive this point back home. Don't assume that you have to go to school and spend a lot of money to get qualified. That is a careless assumption. It might be true in some cases. Well, let's be very clear. I mean, there are still professions that require a 4-year degree and sometimes a graduate degree.
And if you're going to move over to that and you don't know, you've never taken an accounting class and you want to be a CPA, you're going to go get your master's in accounting.
Yeah.
That's really not an option. If you're going to go be a licensed therapist,
you're
going to go get a master's degree in psychology at a minimum in every state, right, in order to get licensed to do that. And so, and if you've had no classes, then, you know, you got a 4, maybe a 5-year ride there.
That's right.
Because there's graduate level work involved in those 2 things that I just mentioned. But this idea that, you know, I have to get my MBA to move up. No, you don't.
Nope. Yeah.
I don't.
We get this call a lot on the Ken Coleman Show. Hey, Ken, I want to move into leadership. Should I pursue an MBA? Now, an MBA on its own is a wonderful achievement. A lot of wonderful things you're going to get.
Information. It's knowledge that's valuable.
Yep. Knowledge, experience, it certainly is impressive. There's
but
no
it
question.
is not table stakes.
Well, it doesn't guarantee you a leadership spot. You know, if you want to become a leader, well, I would tell you to start by listening to the Entree Leadership Podcast. I'd start by telling you go to some of those events, go to other leadership events, read leadership books. And here's an idea. How about engaging with a leader at work and say, hey, I think I might want to lead one day. How can I get better as a follower? And these are all tactics that, again, don't cost a lot of money, but qualify you more for leadership than an MBA does. And
by far.
By far. And so don't make the assumption that I've got to go to school, which is going to cost me money I don't have right now and time I don't have. Don't assume that. Dig into it.
And the worst one is I have to quit my job and have no income coming in so I can go to school and spend the money to do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's the worst one.
Well, certainly in 2021, where now you can go to school online in so many different ways. Give an example, you know, we've got a partner of the Ken Coleman Show, Bethel Tech. They're training people that have no experience. You can go from no technology experience at all, Dave, to starting out making $75,000 a year. $75,000 a year, and then have the opportunity in 2 years later to go into a six-figure income with the kind of people you were talking about earlier today that we hire all the time, developers. I mean, technology, Dave, is now in every industry in the world. Healthcare, nonprofit, religious organizations, everybody's got technology jobs, and that's not going to change. And you don't need a 4-year degree to win in technology.
No.
That's just one example.
No. Absolutely. Interesting stuff. Ken Coleman, The Ken Coleman Show. Be sure and check him out at kencoleman.com. Tons of information there about opening up this whole idea of a bigger shovel. What do you do to get your income up and do it in such a way that your life is better? Because when you go to work, you're smiling. You're doing work you love. This is The Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess? With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
Ramsey personality Ken Coleman is my co-host today. Xavier is with us in Orlando, Florida. Hi, Xavier. How are you?
How you doing, sir?
Good, man. What's up?
Yeah, I have a question. So my wife and I, we just started the baby step 1 Monday. I was reading the book when I get to the part where it says that I have to have all my bills current. So my question is, before we do the $1,000, we have to have all the bills current.
Right.
So my question is, when you're so far behind, sir, how you get to be current?
Okay, that's a really good question. Thank you for calling. It's not to say you're punished, but the baby steps don't work while you got these hornet's nest of bills chasing you, right? So we got to get the things calmed down to be able to work the baby steps. So I appreciate you a lot calling in, because that's where Sharon and I found ourselves a few years back, is in that same situation. Okay, what are you behind on?
One car payment is a month, 2 months behind. My light bill's a little bit behind, and the insurance a little bit behind.
What else?
That's about it, to be honest with you.
Okay, how much is your car payment?
I have one is $350, and the other one is $500.
What are you behind on? The $500?
Actually, no, the
$350.
Yeah, the $500. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And how far behind are you on the electric? What's it take to get current?
About a month, maybe 1 month behind.
How much is that?
About $200.
Okay. And what about the insurance? Is this car insurance you're behind on?
Yes, sir.
All right. How far behind are you on that, and what's it take to get it current money-wise?
It's going to take maybe $357.
Okay, cool. All right, so I got $500, $200, and $350. I got $1,000 changes your life.
Okay.
You see how I did that?
Yes, sir.
What do you guys make? What's your household income?
Between my wife and I, we make $89,000 a year.
Okay, great news, right? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You're going to get on the online. I'm going to give you Ramsey Plus, which will get you hooked up to the full the full thing, man. You put you in Financial Peace University, the class that almost 10 million people have been through. But most importantly for this discussion, it's going to put you into every dollar with the premium version where it hooks to your bank account to do your budget. And you and your wife are going to sit down tonight and you're going to work on that budget using that Every Dollar app, okay?
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to give you the whole thing free.
Oh, my.
Because
I really appreciate that,
I've
sir.
been where
Really
you are. I've been scared. I remember how it feels. How old are you?
Sir, I'm not scared. I am freaking out, to be honest with you.
That's okay. How old are you?
I'm 42 years old.
Okay, cool. So here's what we're going to do. What you're going to do is each month you need to take the money that you have coming in and give it an assignment before the month begins. Okay? So you've got pretty substantial money coming in July and maybe another check in June, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what does your take-home pay look like a month?
I get my take-home pay is $1,600.
A month?
Oh, no, a month? No, $1,600 every 2 weeks.
Okay, so $3,200 for you. That means your wife's probably doing $2,000 to $3,000 as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm just going to say $6,000 just for an example. All right?
Okay.
Now, what I want you to do, here's how you get current to answer your original question. You're going to use this budget form or this budget app tonight to first thing you buy before you buy anything with your $6,000 for this coming month is food. Before your family does anything, they got to eat. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
And so we're going to put down a budget for food. How many kids you got?
Oh, we don't have no kids in the house. Our kids are gone and married.
Okay. So no eating out. You're broke and $1,000 behind. You don't need to go to a freaking restaurant. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
So you're going to go to the freaking grocery store and buy food and cook food at home. Much, much, much cheaper. Okay? Now, and so given that for two people, let's just say I'm going to be a little bit up. Let's say you said $800 a month for food. That's high.
Okay.
You can make it on less, but I'm giving you a little pad. $400 every 2 weeks, okay?
Yes, sir.
You're going to put that in every dollar. Now, I had $6,000 coming in, and so now I have $5,200 left. You with me so far?
Yes, sir.
The second thing you pay is all your utilities, including, let's get this electric bill current. Okay, so it's going to take $400 because it's $200 behind and $200 for this month to get the electric current. Then you got to pay the water. If you got gas, you got to pay that. Whatever your utilities are, your cable bill, if you got a big buck cable bill, you need to cut it back and get almost nothing. Just enough to have internet or something. You're broke. We're trying to get out of being broke. You're in survival mode for a short time, and you're going to live like no one else. You're going to live on nothing, beans and rice, rice and beans, so that later you never have this stress again. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yes, sir.
You can do this, man. I can tell. I've talked to people for 30 years, and I can tell when somebody's ready, and this guy's ready, Ken.
He's ready. Dave, can we talk about the car? I'm curious to know how much the car is worth that has the $500 payment attached to it.
Getting there fast. Yeah.
Yeah, so my wife's car owes actually I have it written down right here. Give me 1 minute. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, no worries.
My wife's car owes $19,370. And my car owes $13,265.
What's your car actually worth? Your car?
To be honest with you, I have no idea.
What about hers?
I haven't even checked how much my car is worth.
A $500 car payment on $19,000 tells me you got us screwed on the interest rate because you got bad credit.
Yeah, we have bad credit, and then we got the car when right after we did a bankruptcy, like almost 10 years ago.
And
what
so
kind of car?
They jacked you. You're paying 16% interest, aren't you?
Yeah. So I did numbers on Monday because when I read your book, I was like, oh my God. So we owe $84,321, and $40,000 of that is owed to the IRS.
Okay. Is that on a payment plan?
So I called the IRS last week and submitted my paperwork. like 2 months ago, and they still have not received it. So I don't even know.
Okay. When you get off, you get online at RamseySolutions.com and click on Tax ELP and find one of our tax providers to help you get an arrangement made for a payment plan with the IRS until you can get them paid off. But you need to get them on a payment plan because they're going to surprise you and come take stuff like your check.
Yeah.
They're going to come like a thief in the night. You don't want them doing that. So you got to see what we're doing is we're getting all of these monsters out from under the bed and we're putting leashes on all of them. So I think your wife's car is probably going to be sold mainly because the interest rate is just absolutely asinine.
Mm-hmm.
They're just killing you. They're killing you.
Yeah.
And get you a cheap car. Because listen, here's the thing. You make $80,000 a year. You could be 100% debt-free, IRS and everything in 2 years. I'm not talking about being current. I'm talking about debt-free in 2 years. But you're going to have no freaking life during that 2 years, and you're going to be driving a beater, and your wife's going to be driving your old car because it's the nicest car, and the wife gets the good car.
My wife and I, we want to do whatever it takes, sir. We just tired. We're tired.
You're ready, man. You're going to do it. Yep. I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Madison's going to pick up. We're going to get you signed up for Financial Peace University and all the goodies and every dollar, all the goodies in Ramsey Plus. And we are here, Xavier. I want to hear back from you while you're fighting on this. You got to have more questions. You call and talk to Ken and me anytime, and we will help you with this process. I'm so proud of you. You're why we're here. Logan is with us in Louisville, Kentucky. Hey, Logan, how can Ken and I help?
Hey, how you doing, Dave?
Great, man. What's up? Sure.
So my dad passed away recently, and I was fortunate enough to receive a pretty large inheritance. Inside the inheritance was 2 IRA accounts valued last week at around $430,000. And then there were 2 properties, one of them being a house with a mortgage on it that my grandparents are living in, his parents, and they're paying the mortgage on that, so it's kind of out of the equation. The other property is the house my dad was living in, and it's completely paid off. And so I guess my question for you, Dave, is, I know the market's really hot right now as far as real estate goes. So would it be smart to sell that property, or should I start to learn how to be a landlord and maybe rent that out?
How old are you?
And I'm 24 right now.
Say again. You're how old?
24. Sorry.
24. Oh my gosh. How old was your dad?
56.
What happened?
Liver disease.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
How long ago did he pass?
It's been about 3 or 4 weeks now.
I'm so sorry. Were y'all close?
Very.
So this is a debilitating process, not a sudden thing. And so you guys have had time to talk, and you knew this was coming.
Yeah. And
what's the house worth? What's the house worth that your grandparents live in?
That I don't know for sure, Dave.
Roughly.
I want to say around 200,000.
Okay.
It's in a very nice neighborhood, but it's only a 1-story house.
What's the? What do you think the mortgage is on it? Do you remember?
A little over 1,000, I believe.
100,000.
Yeah, is owed on the house, and they pay around $1,000 a month or something like that.
Right, I got you. Okay. And the roughly the value of the home he was living in?
$250,000 roughly.
Okay. All right. Do you own a home?
I'm currently living with my girlfriend. She owns, a little $80,000 house, and I pay half the mortgage.
Do you have plans to get married?
Yeah, I think so.
When?
Well, neither of us are really too concerned about it, to be honest with you, Dave. So,
Okay. It helps me with the timing of these answers. That's why I'm asking. Okay.
I got you.
So, because it changes what we do here. So, all right. Okay, let me give you a couple of principles that I use for situations like this and these are running through my mind while I'm trying to formulate my answer. Okay. Principle number one is when you are grieving and the waves of grief are coming over you, none of us, including me, think clearly as we do when we're not grieving. That's logical, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I try in these situations 2-3 weeks into the process, I try to not make major financial decisions in the middle of my brain being in a bit of a fog. Okay?
Right.
That's principle number one that's running through my mind. The other piece of information I know is that an inherited IRA is going to require that you drain it over a 10-year period of time under current law. So you're going to be pulling $43,000 a year out of this and paying taxes on it at a minimum. The law is going to require that. Okay? The other thing that's running through my mind is if Grandpa and Granny are going to stay in that house that you now own, I assume there was a will.
Yeah.
Okay. That you now own or you will own when probate is done, because you're going to have to run this through probate and you're going to have an attorney to do the estate, help you with that stuff. There's a process here on these properties to get them moved into your name. But when you get the other side of that, then I'm going to want Grandpa and Granny's house to be paid off and from something. Okay? The third thing that's running through my mind is if you've never really had big aspirations of being a landlord, this is not the time.
Yeah.
Don't become a landlord by default, by catapult. Okay? So there's no huge rush, but by this time next year, I'm probably selling the house that he was in. And I'm going to use that money to pay off Grandpa's mortgage, and Grandpa can pay you back, or Grandpa can live there free, your choice. I don't care. But I don't want that mortgage on there, because guess what? That mortgage is your problem. It's not their problem. It's on your house. So I want you to be debt free. And somewhere in this soup that we're stirring up, this gumbo that we're adding ingredients to as I keep stirring here, is possibly you getting married and buying a home with some of this money with your new wife. But we're certainly not going to pay off someone else's mortgage that you're not married to, so you do not pay her bills under any circumstances. Okay?
And just some background on that, Dave. So I don't intend to live in this house, not the grandparents' house, but my dad's house. My grandma actually died last year on my mom's side, and she left property to my mom, and it's out in the country and has an acre, and I think me and my girlfriend were probably going to move there within the year. So I as far as the
okay. So that, goes. But I'm just saying, I've got this pile of cash and I can buy a house with it if I need to when I'm married, is what's floating around. That's like step 2, 2.0 version or 3.0 version of this strategy, that we don't have to make all these decisions today while you're still crying. Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to take your time. There's no rush. If you don't put the house on the market till the fall because you go through and clean it, you have somebody clean it. You give yourself some time to breathe and grieve And that's just normal human stuff, man. You don't need to be like a robot, RoboCop or something here with no feelings.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously your mom and dad are separated. Liver indicates possible other things. And so, there's all kinds of stuff in this relationship, but it still hurts.
Definitely.
Yeah. So take your time. What I would do is have a plan with this money to be clearing off that mortgage and getting that house, getting your dad's house sold within 1 year, but towards the back of the year, meaning a year from now. Okay. In other words, after the first of the year, put the house on the market. After the first of the year, get the mortgage paid off or something along those lines. You do need, with the inherited IRA, to sit down in the next 3 or 4 weeks with a SmartVestor Pro. Click SmartVestor Pro at Ramsey Solutions. That's someone we recommend. We're not in the investment business, but they can help you roll that into some good mutual funds, and they can set up the mandatory drain, the 10-year drain that is now required by law, and set that up coming to you. And you can simply use 2 years of that withdrawal to pay off Granny's house over there if you want to, because that's going to be very close to that amount. And if you'll not touch any of this money and live off of your income, which you were doing prior to his passing, then this is going to end up being a huge financial windfall for you long term. But give yourself some room to cry, brother. Be normal, okay? It's people, they feel like somehow they need to be Superman when it comes to money, and that's not right.
Yep. Great advice to just heal and then come out of the storm and then follow the plan. He's in great shape if he makes good decisions.
Yeah. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Proverbs 17:17. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. Mother Teresa said, some people come into your life as blessings, other people come into your life as lessons.
Isn't that the truth?
I have never heard that one. That is fabulous.
I'm thinking about my kids right now.
She is so sweet. I'm thinking about people that are not as nice as your kids.
That's true, too.
Peak real estate season's just around the corner. This year, things are different. Home prices are higher. Competition between buyers is intense. Man, you could make a six-figure mistake screwing around out there in real estate right now. Don't jump head first into something you don't understand. If you don't know where to start, you're not financially ready for a mortgage. If you don't have questions, if you have questions about how to buy or sell, get with a pro. Start by connecting with one of our endorsed local providers. These are high-octane, high-protein agents that actually know what the flip they're doing. They sell a lot of houses. It's not amateur hour out there right now, boys and girls. If you're selling a house when everybody's giving you multiple bids above asking price, 50% of the homes in America sold above asking in May.
Wow.
First time in history. You don't want a rookie agent managing multiple offers above this. This is someone who knows how to juggle the flaming swords. You need to have somebody who knows how to do it. Go to RamseySolutions.com/agent. If you're going to list a house right now, this is a great time to sell a house. Horrible time to do it with a rookie. Horrible time. I know that your Aunt Sally just got her license. I don't give a crap. Your Aunt Sally doesn't know what she's doing. She's sweet. You can have her bake cookies, but don't ever sell your house. That's ridiculous. If she didn't sell 300 houses last year, 50 houses last year, let's not talk about it. Never sold a house in her life, she's going to list yours. Dumb idea. RamseySolutions.com/agent. Get with one of our endorsed local providers. They'll help you do it right. Victoria is with us in Boston. Hi, Victoria. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm doing great. I'm so excited to talk to you.
You too. What's up in your world?
Well, I got married 7 months ago, and me and my husband are wondering if there is a rule of thumb or a percentage of our take-home or gross income that we should be saving towards a baby fund.
What's a baby fund?
Like, I know that you tell people when they learn that they're expecting to store away, as much money as they can.
Yeah.
We have a plan where we don't want to get pregnant for 7 years, which is a whole story. But in those 7 years, we're going to pay off our house so I can stay home with the kids.
Wow. Okay, you do not need a baby. You do not need a baby fund. You need an emergency. When I tell people to stop doing their baby steps, it's because they don't have any money saved, and I don't want them working, paying off debt, and have no money while they're pregnant. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
Okay,
well, we already have our emergency fund.
Yeah, I bet. I can tell. You guys are a wee bit into planning, but yeah.
A little bit, yeah. My husband turned me on to long ago before we got married, and was a requirement that I took financial peace before we got married.
Wow, hardcore. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm honored. I appreciate that. So, yeah, I think if you have your emergency fund and you're doing your investing and you're building up wealth to pay off the house or pay cash for a house or whatever your plan is there, I think you're going to have plenty of money to buy some diapers if you need to.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if there was a rule of thumb. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate the call. Very cool. Eric is in Cincinnati. Hi, Eric. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you for taking my call, sir. How are you?
Sure. Better than I deserve. What's up?
Hey, so just a quick question for you. I'm 26. I just finished baby step 3. I have no debt. I make $20K a year, not very much. I have 2 years of college and I rent. Next baby step is doing retirement, say 15% for retirement. Is that something I should be doing right now, or should I be focusing on other things?
You said you have 2 years of college?
Yeah, I dropped out after 2 years. My parents were fortunate enough giving me some money. Student loans cover the rest. And
okay, so you're 20. Wait, you make $20,000 a year?
I'm 26, correct.
26, and you make $20,000 a year. Okay, so what are your career plans?
I'm a golf professional right now. That was what I was majoring in college. So that's, if you ask why I stopped going to college. But yeah, I'm a teaching professional. I've grown up playing golf all my life. It's what I love doing. But right at some point, I gotta make those life decisions.
Are you a teaching pro? Is that what you mean when you're a professional?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Why are you only making $20,000?
I'm on salary for $2,000 a month. After taxes is about $1,750, and just what it is. You kind of have to get your way through in that.
And you don't get paid per lesson or anything?
That's like they call that tips, more or less. But yeah, probably about $60 a lesson. So it's nice. It's a little something, but to say that.
But you're not doing many lessons.
No, I probably do about 5 a week, 5 or 6. It's probably about once a day, maybe twice.
I don't understand how you're only making $20,000. I've got friends that are teaching pros that are making really good money teaching with lessons.
Yeah, right. Most of my hours are in the shop. I'd say I'm being a teaching professional. It's not my
so you're on
primary job there, but yeah, I do about 8 to 10 hours in the shop, and then times in the mornings. And I teach.
All right, what's the next rung on the ladder? Because it's been a while since I've talked to somebody who's doing this. You're in the shop, basically minding the pro shop, and then you're doing a little bit of extra teaching for not much, $60 a lesson. So what's the next step up? What's that look like financially?
It'd be a head pro, or you're doing teaching all the time, and what you're thinking. But right, I'm more calling to ask, as I say, hey, should we be doing a new career path? Should we go back to school?
that kind of thing.
No. If you want to be a golf pro, no, you don't need to go back to school. I mean, you're already in. This is it's a pay your dues business, much more so than a lot of industries. You got to kind of slog, and you know how political it is too. You kind of got to look for an opening somewhere else because it's probably a long shot that the guy who's the head pro now is going to just up and leave. So you're going to have to be head on a swivel, very aggressive, networking, connecting like crazy because it is very hard to get a head pro job.
Right.
Yeah.
You're starving to death, and unless you put in place a plan to move up this ladder, yes, you do need to do something different.
Yeah.
And you don't sound very intense about it. You sound kind of flippant about it when you're talking about it.
I'm pretty happy with how my life is going. I'm always seeking new opportunities. But I'm getting to working right now, building a resume in a sense. I mean, if you want to say no, then fine. But
Okay. Yeah, you need to start saving 15% of your income, but you need to work on your income.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. You're not making much money, and you need to have some kind of a goal for your life that when you're 36, you're not making the same that you're making when you're 26.
Yeah, I you know what? Dave normally calls me nice guy. I'm not going to be so nice here. I know this industry. My brother started in it now as a Division III head golf coach. You are nothing more than an assistant manager of a pro shop, and you got a little bit of teaching. If you call yourself a teaching pro, then you need to get really jacked up about teaching lessons, because if you teach lessons in a nice community like Cincinnati, Ohio, a lot of golf there. Ohio's a big golf craze state. If you really, really wanted to make more money, this is about you getting serious about lessons where you can get really good pay. But I'm with Dave. I don't think you're fired up. I think you're enjoying your life and you're comfortable. But here's the reality. Don't say you're a teaching pro when you're not. You're minding the golf store and checking people in for their tee times. So you got to decide, what is it that you really want to do? But this idea of I'm going to go back to school for a better career, well, you don't even know what you want to do yet. And so there's some decision making for you right now. And this is a pretty pivotal point in your life at 26. It's time
even
to grow
if you go
up.
back to school after you get the degree, you still have to get up, leave the cave, kill something, and drag it home.
That's right.
And that's what's struggling in this conversation. So you like your life the way it is. Save 15% of your income. But dude, if you make $20,000 the rest of your life, you're going to struggle, period. I mean, you're going to be at the poverty level. That's what it amounts to. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Thanks to Ken Coleman, my co-host today. James Childs, my producer, and Madison, our associate producer and phone screener. I am Dave Ramsey. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.